interpret information and construct responses. Next, the example below will differentiate declarative and procedural knowledge as simple understanding involving comprehension and application. So for the declarative knowledge is able to state the law of supply and demand. So for the comprehension is able to explain the law of supply and demand. So kay involve na siya og information, mga factual na information about sa topic na law of supply and demand. So for the example, is able to explain the rising prices of vegetables during summertime. So kay na siya application or what kanang experimentation bitaw, needed na siya og kanang procedures bitaw para ma-determine nato ang prices, like kaning is able to explain the rising prices of vegetables during summertime. So kay ma-apply na nato if unsa ang reason is able to compute the area of rectangle. From the word procedural, na siya procedures na i-follow. So for the comprehension, is able to compare the sizes of two given lots in the term of the areas. In application, there na i-apply is able to determine the number of 1x1 tiles needed to cover the 50 feet by 100 feet hall. So na siya application. Procedures na i-follow para ma-determine. So for the table 2, this shows the categories of lower order thinking skills and specific sample of the generic questions. So the low level thinking skill, which first is the knowledge of terminologies. So what is a blank? So for the knowledge of specific facts, when did blank happen? For the knowledge of conventions, where are blank usually found? Knowledge of criteria, knowledge of methods and principal techniques. When blank increase, what happens to blank? So for comprehension, what do you mean by the expression? Do you need na mag-comprehend o paunsa ngano, what do you mean by the expression? So simple interpretation, what makes blank interesting? So there mag-interpret ta. So for the solving numerical problems, use data above to find the blank. So manipulation symbols and equation shows that blank equals blank. So education aims not only to develop students' basic knowledge but also to foster deep understanding. So their need na kay ang measuring deep understanding. So deep understanding is the ability to analyze, evaluate, and apply what has been learned in a meaningful way. So measuring deep understanding involves assessing how well students can use their knowledge beyond simple recalls of facts. So the table 3 illustrates how cognitive levels can be aligned with learning outcomes, showing sample behaviors that reflects different depth of understanding. So the knowledge and simple understanding involves the first 3 cognitive levels, which are the remembering, comprehending, and applying. So the deep understanding requires the 3 higher cognitive levels, which are the analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So kato ni siyang sa Bloom's taxonomy. So kaning sa table 3, alignment of learning outcomes and cognitive levels. So familiar naman ta nino kay topic naman ni siya sa mga previous reporting. So ato lang kanon outro. So for the level 1, the remembering, so mo ni siya ang pinaka ubos na one sa Bloom's taxonomy. So katong sa revise ni. So first is the recall, recognize, name, and describe. So for the level 2, comprehending, so yung under is interpret, exemplify, classify, compare, explain, and infer. So for the level 3, applying, solve, apply, modify, and demonstrate. So for the level 4, the analyzing, there's an analysis under ang organize, distinguish, outline, transform, diagnose, and construct. Deconstruct pala. So for the level 5, the evaluating, which is the pinaka higher na siya is ang critic, assess, defend, and justify. Hindi din pinaka-higher ang number 5. Ang pinaka-higher pala is ang So for the level 5, second to the last is evaluating. So ang under is ang critic, assess, defend, and justify. So lastly is ang level 6, which is the creating. Ang under is ang plan, generate, produce, design, construct, and compose. So next is the kanyang example na sa short answer and extended essay. So for the lower order, according to the article you just read, what focus and contributes to climate change? So this is a short answer supply type of simple and comprehension question since it is based on the specific reading material. Without citing the sources of the response, it could be also simply recall question. So for the higher order, write an article on how the government and the country can work together to mitigate the factors causing environmental damages. So this is likewise a supply type, but since it requires higher order thinking at the creating level, so ang creating level na biya ang pinaka-highest, so it will call for an extended essay items. So deeper understanding is necessary to demonstrate the outcomes as it involves synthesis of previous information and observation derived from the multiple sources. Next is the box to select the response type or the multiple choice. So for the lower order thinking skills, according to the article you just read, what contributes powerfully to the climate change? So naa siya 4 choices, the A, B, C, D. For the higher order thinking skill, which of the following factors which affect climate change can be controlled by man? So na po siya choices, which is A, strong earthquake, B, volcanic eruption, C, melting of the glaciers, D, carbon dioxide emission. So selection of the correct option requires analysis of the alternative given as question. So first, it calls for the identifying those factors affecting climate change and later analyze whether man can control it or not. Just being able to do one skills will not be adequate to select the correct option. Next is the box to select the response type or the multiple choice. So for the lower order thinking skills, according to the article you just read, what contributes powerfully to the climate change? So naa siya 4 choices, the A, B, C, D. For the higher order thinking skill, which of the following factors which affect climate change can be controlled by man? So na po siya choices, which is A, strong earthquake, B, volcanic eruption, C, melting of the glaciers, D, carbon dioxide emission. So selection of the correct option requires analysis of the alternative given as question. So first, it calls for the identifying those factors affecting climate change and later analyze